Hey there crew, welcome to this video. As you can see, this is just some regular time-lapse footage of my dad. He's gonna cut open sheetrock so he can fit in some high voltage brackets. But if anything, I hope nothing bad happens. I mean, what could... Don't worry crew, rest assured, from that little intro bit, my dad is completely fine. But to give you some context, this is the very next day from our previous video where we cut open this whole huge chunk of sheetrock so we can essentially reallocate the load for all the switches into just one singular switch so it doesn't look like a monstrosity of switches on the wall. But from here, you're going to see that my dad repeats the same process right here in this basement. So as you can see crew on the wall, and how you can see that there's just, a monstrosity of switches. There's 4 on the right, there was like probably 2 on the left that my dad just took out. But the process here is that my dad wants to have a cleaner look of just one singular smart switch on the wall. So there's no, going from one switch to just turn on one part of the room, then going to another switch to turn on another part of the room. It's a complicated mess. My dad wants to avoid that process. So that's exactly what he's doing right here. He's going to take every single one of those Romexes and then essentially tie it into one singular switch. And now, for eagle-eyed viewers, you can see this is where my dad kind of screwed up a little bit. But don't worry, the only reason why that spark happened is because my dad forgot to turn off the circuit while working with these Romexes. But it's okay. Problem and crisis averted.
All right, folks, as we're making progress on this Short Hills job from the great room, we are today working in the family room, which we're going to be installing a TV back here, and we have already cut the ceiling with some speakers. And then now Justin's actually in the attic because we've been told that they want us to take these lights out and they want us to actually put little 6-inch LED lights between the speakers. So we're going to put one right over here. And we're also going to put one right over here. And let me give you a preview of Justin. He's up there. We got him a ladder. And check him out. He's up in the attic. Oh, that light is blinding us, but you can see that he's taking apart the housing for the can that's up there. We're going to use the existing line as we're going to feed it from a switch, and we're going to tail that from right here. And then we're just going to make the cut right there and then just run the wire there, put the 6-inch light over there. And I got Gus right behind me over here. He's setting up. And on this side of the family room, Justin's gonna take out that housing and that light from in there. And then we're gonna eliminate that. They'll patch it, or we'll probably patch it ourselves. Then we're gonna make a cut right here on the ceiling for the 6-inch lights. And we're gonna put another one right over here. All right, in the meantime, while they're working on that, let me show you what I'm actually working on. So if you remember from one of the time lapse, Justin was actually right here in this section where we had 4 switches. I think it was 6 switches actually, I'm sorry, correction. It was 6 switches. We had 6 switches right in here with 6 loads, and we ripped them all out, and now we've relocated them. So we decided to put a 4-gang box right over here with all the loads, and I got a single gang box out over here. This is where the keypad is going to be located. From here, we're gonna control all the lights, but all the actual loads are gonna be here with smart Wi-Fi switches. So what I'm gonna do is, actually, if you notice, I actually put the 4-gang box over here, and then I put a stud right here to hold the box so it doesn't move. See that on there? Not only that, it gives me an extra nailer for this big patch that I'm gonna do here. And so the smart switch multi-button will be down here controlling all the lights, and all the smart switches will receive the command from that keypad down there up to here via the network or the control system. And then from there, I'm gonna take a big piece of sheetrock and I'm gonna close this up. And but before I do that, I have to run a 14.2 from this box over here and a 14.3. So I can actually control more lights back and forth, all right? So let's get that going.
Now before we move on to what Gus and I are doing, let's see what my dad is up to and, let's see what his adventures are in this part of the day. So as you can see from the earlier part of the video, my dad is finishing up this section of the switches in which he is going to essentially tie every single Romex together. And as you can see that there is a sort of weird looking blue Romex in there, and what that is actually it's a 14-3 in which it carries a extra piece of copper for continuous power between the single load switch, as you can see right there in the bottom corner, to where all the Romexes actually are, to where the electricity is being provided. Now as we jump on to the next thing, you can see that my dad is, in this segment of the video, he's going to make a new outlet on the wall, but his process of doing that is that since this is an empty space within the wall because of the molding, he took the advantage of just simply making a new electrical outlet on the molding and then going to where he actually wants the outlet on the wall and just tying it up from there, going a straight shot. So technically, even though it was requested of us to only make one outlet, he was able to kill two birds with one stone and make two outlets out of this single run, just to make his life a little easier. So now from here, my dad's going to tie that in, and let's move on to the next part of the video. Alrighty crew, and here we are to the part of the video where it's Gus and I working together to find the new locations in which we are going to make our holes for the new lights. But as you can see, we threw a laser so it's straight down the middle of the center of the speaker holes, and then from there we're going to use our trusty handy dandy measuring tape to find the exact placements for our lights. So from here on out, as you can see, Gus and I, we found our placements for the new lights, and then from there, once we're done cutting these new holes for the lights, we're going to use the existing Romex that's there to essentially just reuse the electricity that's running through the house to power on these new lights. And then from there, we're going to repeat that very same process on the other side of this very same room, as you can see here, crew. Now with this side of the room, it was a bit harder to work with since there's no direct access, or rather an attic here. So to run the Romex that we had to tail from the actual Romex feed that's actually giving us the electricity, you'll see that I had to cut up a little square there so I can pull on the Romex a lot easier and then run our jumper Romex so we can have the electricity flowing for the lights, as you can see. And then from here, crew, we're gonna finish up in this day, but not the video, just this day, with my dad and Gus putting up these new lights. And then from there, we're gonna finish up this day and then continue on the video with what we did the very next day.
Okay, folks, from watching some of those time lapses that Justin put together for you, you might have seen Gus and Justin just pre-wiring the family room here for those pancake lights. I was in the great room doing some outlets for artwork, and check this out. Me and Gus got together and we installed the pancake lights where Justin and Gus did the holes and ran the Romex wire. And right now, let's see if it works. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unplug the work light. Okay, and then Gus is gonna go ahead and shut off the lights there. All right, there it is. All right, go. Whoa, check that out. All right, so we installed 6-inch Amico LED waffle lights, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. And if you can see, it's pretty much lighting up this room. And these holes that are here, there's gonna be speakers. We're gonna come back another day and install the speakers. That was the existing can lights that was there. They're gonna patch that up. That was an existing can light over here. They're gonna go ahead and patch that up. We got 3 more speakers over here that we're gonna install on another day. We're gonna have a TV in this corner over here. We're not sure if they're gonna make a decision to have us install a TV right in the middle over here. That's still in the works, we have no idea. Let's see, over here, I got this almost prepped up. We finished it up, so I ran the 14.2 and the 12.3 to go up from here to the gang box. The 4 gang box over here that's gonna carry all those loads. And we gonna come back another day, put a staple on this wire here, patch this up. And looks like just Gus is playing with the lights. All right, so don't know if this is the end of the day. No, actually it is the end of the day. So we'll come back tomorrow or the next day, I don't know, and keep on working, right? All right, let's go. Hey there, crew, I am Eddie. Behind the camera, we have Justin.
Hey there, crew, little pause from the cutting room floor. The reason why seems as though we're having a second intro on this part of the video is because we were recording so much footage throughout this week that we didn't really know what was going to end up in what video or what was going to end up here or there. So unfortunately, this was just a result of playing it safe and just, you know, seeing how and where the footage will take us throughout the week. So if anything, just lay back, enjoy the video, and drop a comment. leave a like, and of course, and most importantly, subscribe. Thank you so much, and enjoy the video.
And right behind us over here, we have Gus, and we are Home Media Bliss. Now, if you just found us, thank you for stopping by. Please stick around all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully we can entertain you. And for those that are following us, thanks for following us. And please, everybody, consider sharing, subscribing, and dropping a comment. Now, on previous videos, you might have seen us doing some chandeliers, some minor electrical TV locations and electrical. So today we are in the gym, in the basement. On a previous video, if Justin's gonna drop that clip over here, we actually had a mirror wall right here, and we thought we were done with this room. We had already cut out 2 speakers on top, and the existing lighting was sconces right over here. So we have 1 sconce here, 1 sconce there. Then we also had a TV location that they told us that TV was gonna go here for the gym. Then they told us move it over here. And now they want an additional TV location right around over here. So what we're doing today, among other things, is we're gonna bring a new TV location right here. We're gonna tail some electrical from right at the bottom, and then we have to run some TV wires all the way over there to our rack, preferably Cat 6 cable. Now, what else are we doing? Well, if you notice, there's actually no lighting in the ceiling. They knocked down this wall over here where the mirror used to be. This used to be a salt room for all the salt water filtering. They constructed a fake wall right here, or a pony wall, with some closet doors they put in here. And then now they wanted to expand this into a larger gym. So our job is to add 2 more speakers right here and add more pancake 6-inch waffle lights. So we're gonna add 1 6-inch light right here. We're gonna add another one right here, right between the speakers. Then we're gonna add another one right over here, another one right here that'll light up this room. Then, as we're gonna use this this where the wall used to be, we're gonna consider that's the next room, and we're gonna start with a new light right over here, a speaker cut right over here, another light right here, and another light right over here with the speaker in the middle. So the idea is that when we're finished, we're gonna have a nice row of lights with the speaker all lined up. We're gonna go ahead and shoot a laser. So we'll shoot a laser all the way across in the ceiling so we can have a nice line. So when somebody walks down the stairs and they see this room, they're just gonna have a nice straight line of lights and speaker. Also, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take advantage that the floor is up, all right? There's no hardwood floor, there's no carpeting. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna mark the floor, so then we know our locations, and then from there, we can get started. All right, so let's go. Okay, so let me begin by marking the floor for the guys. We also have another camera over there recording in time lapse, so Justin will add that in. All right, so now we have our paint, and we're gonna mark the floor. So I'm standing right here in the middle of the room. When we measure these speakers, we measure the true center of this room when the wall used to be right here, the mirror wall. So now, if we're gonna do that, I'm just gonna stand right here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make marks on the floor. They're not gonna be exact. Justin and Gus, they're gonna shoot a laser and they're gonna measure up the exact distance between. I'm just gonna make some points on the floor so they know where I think the light should go, alrighty? So let's go ahead and mark a little circle here. Okay, that should be a light. Let's go ahead and mark another one right over here. I'm thinking a light right over here, so let's see. All right, Justin, see that? So we got one there. I'm thinking the next one should go right around here. All right, there it is. The next one I think should go right around here. Yeah, there it is. All right, so that's one room. Okay, so I'm thinking that when you do LED lighting, you should have at least a spot beam of coverage of at least 4 feet. I could be wrong, jump into the comments and you guys can correct me if you want. All right, so let's see, we should have another one right around here. All right. And over here, I think it should be the speaker. So I'm gonna make it a big one, put an S on it so they know what it is. And then I think we should have another light right around here. Oh, did I just bump that? All right, great. Okay, let's finish up the room. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put another one right around here. All right, we're gonna do a speaker right here. Put an S on it. Actually, that's Superman, my favorite hero. All right, and then we'll do another light right around here. Okay, so if you notice, Justin, take a look over here. If you notice, I marked the floor. They're not perfectly in line. I'm just suggesting where they should be. The guys are gonna throw a laser right across the room, and then they're gonna measure up equal distance on everything. From the light to the speaker, from the speaker to the light, to the light, to the light, to the light, to the speaker, to the speaker, to the light. okay? Then over here, from the light to the speaker, from the speaker to the light, to the light, to the light, to the speaker, and then to the final light that's over here. And so while the guys are doing that, I'm actually gonna jump on something else. I'm gonna do some patching and cover up those big cuts that I did on all those switches, and cover that up and get going. All right, so let's go.
Alrighty, crew, and just like earlier in the video, we're gonna see first what my dad is up to in his little adventures. And as you can see, he brought in this big old piece of sheetrock that we brought in for patching purposes. And as you can see, my dad here, he's taking the exact measurements for the piece of sheetrock that he's going to cut. And not only that, if you really pay close attention, he's also taking measurements of the junction boxes, so that's how he have the measurements as to where he needs to cut as well on his big old piece of sheetrock that he's going to use to cover up that hole in the wall. So in this part of the timeline, you can see my dad doing his best to not only do the perfect measurements, but also do the perfect drawings so that the sheetrock piece can just fit right into the hole, and as well as it doesn't bother any of the junction boxes. So from here on out, it's pretty self-explanatory. My dad is going to cut out these pieces as well as his big old piece of sheetrock to cover up the wall. And then from there, it's pretty self-explanatory as to what he's going to do next. Gonna cover it up, patch it as if we did no damage. All right, so enjoy the rest of this time lapse. And as you can see, crew, that piece of sheetrock fit right in. Look, it is fitting perfectly, almost as if it was a part of the wall. Not only that, but my dad didn't even need to use any patchwork beams, since he could just use the beams that were already there on the wall and just put the piece of sheetrock right there. And not only that, my dad is also getting practice on actually using spackle so that he can practice patching and make it as if the piece of sheetrock was never even cut to begin with. It's as if the house came with that. Anyway, so let's move on to the next thing that my dad is going to do. And if you were paying attention from early in the video, crew, you can tell that from here my dad also cut this piece of sheetrock from the basement, and from here my dad is also doing the same thing that he did on the top floor, which is running the 14.3 to have a continuous power or load what's feeding the actual electricity from the circuit. And then from there, instead of having that whole mess of 4 switches or 6 switches lined up on the wall, you can just have nice one singular load switch because of that 14.3. And not only that, it's just a much cleaner look. It's just one switch on the wall, you know, there's no hogwash of just millions and millions of switches doing whatever. Anyway, I digress. As you can see, my dad actually had to use some patchwork beams so that the sheetrock can hold. It wasn't as lucky as the one upstairs, but from here, if you're really paying attention, you can tell that my dad didn't cut open the hole for the switch, and that's because it was probably a lot easier to just put the sheetrock in place and then cut the hole after, so then the wire was just waiting for him right there. So it was all strategically planned, actually. Funny enough, from there, my dad is going to put on some mud and some spackle and whatever he needs to do to finish up from here. And then from here, we're going to catch up as to what Gus and I were doing. So while my dad was completely busy with doing what he needed to do, which was patching up the cuts that he did in the walls, so, you know, that really needed urgent attention. But as you can see, Gus and I, we were measuring the rooms to find our perfect measurements for where our new speakers and also new lights are going to go in a symmetrical straight line. It was a really fun process because we had to mathematically divide the room a lot and find the centers of each corners, and also, you know, decide if this was the center for one room or the other part of the room. It was really fun, and honestly, I learned a lot from doing this. But as you can tell, Gus and I found our centers really quick, cut our holes for the speakers and the lights, and then from here it was just running the Romex to where it needed to go. And then not only that, by this time my dad finished up on what he was doing with the aspect of him patching up those holes that he made in the wall. And then from there, my dad decided to join forces with us to, you know, essentially make it easier for us to run the Romex and just for an extra pair of hands. And from here you get a little bonus footage of me putting up the light.
All right, folks, a little bit of an update on this room. So you can tell from that time lapse, the guy ran a laser. We made our cuts, so check this out. They already made the cuts for the lights. right here, there, and there. We got our speaker cuts. And right now the guys figured to run the Romex from one to the other. This is what we're gonna tell them together. Here, Justin actually just ran a line feed. Here's Gus. He is ready to pull on this line. Actually, he just left me. So I'm just gonna see if I can pull the line myself. See if I can just pull it. Here we go. It's coming from that side. And let me undo the glow rod so we don't snap it. All right, let's see. Okay, it's a little bit of a tight here. All right, there it is. There's our feed that I'm pulling in from that racketeer rack that Justin set up right over there where our Romex is tied into. Check that out. Coming in right over here. And we're almost done with this bundle. We're gonna have to buy another one. So the idea here is that we're gonna put these lights up here, install one in there, one in here, tail it from there, and then since there were two existing can lights right in here that they turn into LEDs, we're gonna jump into the junction box that's in here. So this light, it already has power. It's gonna power that light, and then we're gonna keep on powering over there. This one already has power. Here's our tail that's gonna feed this light, another tail from here to feed that light. So then we're gonna light up this room shortly. And let me show you where the guys were working. I've already prepped up the lights. So we're using Amipico 6-inch waffle lights. Okay, they're color temperature adjusted, so we can go from like yellow to like white, bright white, and little blue, like the sky. And then they come with metal housing right over here. So I already prepped up the Wago connectors in here. So they come with 4 slots. I don't know if you can see that on there. And then the 4 slots allows us to jump into more connections that are up there, which that's what we're gonna do. And because this is a metal housing and we're using Romex, I'm gonna punch out this knockout right here, and then I'm gonna insert a plastic bushing on here, and then hand it over to the guys, and then they're gonna connect these lights up and light up this room. All right, so let's go. All right, folks, let me go ahead and show you how we install these LED lights. Now I got the housing right over here already prepped up. I got my 6-inch LED waffle with the wing clips that it's gonna clip into the sheetrock, and then I also got my Racketeer's cutter, so it's almost toolless. But I went ahead off camera, I prepared the bushing, see that under? That's the bushing that's gonna hold the Romex right through. And inside the housing, I got the Wagos already ready to go. And then on my side over here, you're gonna see Gus, he's actually installing one of them, but he's got 2 wires in there, and then he's gonna tell them together. I got only 1 single wire. That means it's the end of the line. Okay, so let me go ahead and strip about, I don't know, I do about 4 inches or so. Carefully strip it, okay. Okay, there it is. All right, folks, that's as much as we're gonna need for the housing right there. See that? Now I'm gonna go ahead and strip just a little bit of the neutral cable here. There it is, that's enough. And then I'm gonna strip about maybe about half, quarter of an inch, half inch in there, just like that. Okay, then take the Romex cable or NM cable for non-metallic. So stab it right through the bushing on here. Check this out, and you see I'm gonna put it right over here. So you see I'm gonna get it right through the bushing here. Come on guys, get in there. Okay, there it is. There's my cable. And I'm gonna pull enough just so I can get the jacket trapped on that bushing. See that on there? So I got the cable, trapped it into the bushing so it doesn't move. It doesn't move out of the box and it stays in there. All right, so starting off, I always have a habit, I don't know why, but I always have a habit of starting with the ground. All right, so we're gonna start with the ground. I'm gonna push it into the Wago here. Okay, if you notice, it's actually in the box, it brings a 4 connector Wago on there. That's why I got 2 more empty slots, that's okay. That'll stay empty. The next one I like to install is the neutral. Here it is, actually, almost made a mistake there. So here it is. Here's my neutral, just push it in on the Wago. Okay, there's my connector. Wago's all the way in there. And lastly, I'll go ahead and put the hot. And let me go ahead and get it out of here. Just switch in between the neutral. Here it is. All right, there it is. Push in my hot in here. There it is. And then of course we're working without power right now, so I'm allowed to touch this wire like that. So then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like you take the wire and you kind of like try to make a little circular bend on here. All right, and it all fits in there. See that on there? Okay, it all traps in there. Close the door. There it is. So we're gonna make the connector right here. Just kind of pin it into place. All right, there's our 3 pins, and then just kind of meet the pins right on there. Okay, right. Okay. Come on, get in there. There it is. Now we go ahead and make the connector here. Just spin it into place right there so it's nice and trapped. There it is, ready to go. Okay, take the housing, go ahead and shove it inside. in there. Okay, oh, we forgot that we want to set your temperature. So it actually has a little DIN connector here, so you can actually push this connector to the color temperature that you have. So Gus is telling me to put it on 3500, so I'll put it on 3500. That's the temperature that he's liking right about now. Okay, we could always take out down the light and switch the temperature if the client doesn't like it. All right, so first things first, we'll go ahead and take one of the wings, put it in the sheetrock right there, see, trap it, and then just the other one, make sure that we get it in there. Okay, and boom, let go, there it is. Okay, send on a light, there it is, and that's how we do that. Now let's do that, man, but 8 more times, or well, 7 more times. All right, let's go. Okay, folks, a little bit of an update on the gym over here. Actually, half of the gym. We have 4 LED lights installed, nice and wired up, tailed into the existing LED lights that had power on that side. Okay, so let's see if our connections are gonna work. So I got Gus over here. He's gonna get rid of that light. Here we go. And lights, camera, action. Oh, look at that. Look at that, nice and bright over here. So we have 2 lights over here underneath the soffit and 4 brand new LED lights in here. And this is brighten up the room. So what's next? Now we gotta finish up this half of the gym and we gotta run lights in here and get them going. All right, let's move on. All right, a little bit of a follow-up on this room, folks. Again, as I mentioned before, this is going to be the gym. And from that previous time lapse, you saw us installing 4 lights in here, and then we did a little light reveal. Well, on the other time lapse, you saw us installing 4 lights in here, running the wire, back pulling it over here. We had to make 2 cuts right here on the soffit. We reinstalled the pieces back again. The guys are gonna patch it on there. And it's time to reveal these lights. So Gus is standing by on that switch. I'm standing right here. So let me go ahead and kill it and go ahead, Gus. Whoa, check that out. Now we're lighting up this portion of the gym. Oh, okay, good. Now we're lighting up this portion of the gym. And then I'm gonna relight up this other portion of the gym. Now you might be asking, but wait a minute, how come there are 2 switches? For the 4 lights on each section. It's like, well, that is because that was the existing light that was on there. They're not allowing us to tear up all the walls and run new feeds all the way to the circuit. So we're using what's existing. However, because there's gonna be a smart lighting system, it doesn't matter. Those 2 switches are gonna receive a command for all the lights to go up all at once or down. So when we're done with the lighting, when the time comes for us to install the smart switches, we're gonna put the smart switch right here. The multi-button keypad that's gonna tell all those lights to go on. So it doesn't matter whether they turn it on from here or this corner over here, the system is gonna tell all these lights to go on all at once, even though there are 2 separate switches. What's left to do on this room is they asked for another TV location right over here. So we have to run a Romex from this circuit, actually from this outlet right over here. So we're gonna tail that up. Then we need 3 Cat 6s from this corner all the way across the ceiling into the rack room system that's beyond these doors over here in the basement. We also have to re-terminate this other TV location. So we got one here. So there'll be 2 TV locations in here. One on this wall and one on that wall. So actually they have 2 TVs while they're working out. All right, so I think that what's left to do is clean up and move on to the next thing. Let's go.
And that's exactly what you're seeing here, crew, the very next day on a Friday, where Gus and I essentially just took our sweet time running these cables and then terminating these future TV locations. It was really fun because we were able to take our sweet time, make sure everything was nice and perfect and correct, and then from there, just call it a day and go home.